Love is the world's universal language. It can be seen in almost everything we do and expressed in a variety of ways. From Valentine's Day to the universal wedding tradition of something new, something old, something borrowed, and something blue, we know a lot about our own culture, but what about other countries? These are the 7 bizarre celebrations of love around the world. Number 1. Ghost weddings. China has a wide variety of wedding customs and traditions. One of the weirder ones that have been around for over 3,000 years is the practice of ghost weddings. When ghost weddings were first performed, they were restricted to a marriage ceremony between 2 deceased people who were both single whilst alive. The deceased bride's family would request a price for the bride, and the dowry would include paper tributes such as a large house and expensive jewels. The wedding ceremony was then held at the cemetery where the tombstones of the couple were. When the ceremony was completed, the bones of the bride would be dug up and reburied inside the grave of the groom. It was also decided beforehand whether the couple were the right age and whether their family background meant they would be compatible in the afterlife. In modern times, the tradition allows for one of the betrothed to be a living person who will then marry a deceased person. Number 2. Crying marriage. Weddings are traditionally associated with joy, laughter, happiness, and all the other appropriate words that describe the feeling 2 people have when they finally commit their lives to one another in matrimony. However, some traditions do not believe in taking weddings lightly. For instance, the Tuajia people in China require the bride to cry for at least 1 hour every day for a whole month before she gets married. In some parts of India, marriage is a case of life and death, as certain girls born under the wrong star, astrologically speaking, are believed to be cursed and would bring death upon their husbands. However, if the girl marries a tree and chops it down before marrying her fiancé, the curse will be broken. In the Congo, smiling is frowned upon at some weddings. Instead, it is preferred that the bride and groom keep a straight face through proceedings, because if they break into laughter or even just grin, it means they are not taking their wedding seriously enough. Only when they leave for their honeymoon do they get to take a break from being stony-faced. Number 3. Blackening the Bride. This Scottish tradition is still practiced, though mostly in small villages and rural areas of Scotland. The blackening of the bride, and often the groom too, is traditionally carried out the day before the wedding and goes back all the way to medieval times. The couple is captured by their families and loved ones and covered in an assortment of disgusting items, including rotten eggs, fish, and treacle. They then have flour and feathers dumped all over them. They are paraded through the streets so everyone can see them in their messy state. This aims to prepare the couple for their life together and ward off evil spirits. It sounds more likely to be every bride's worst nightmare, but this unusual Scottish wedding tradition is making a surprise comeback. According to wedding organizers, the blackening is becoming increasingly popular among brides and grooms. Number 4. Shooting the bride. In general, grooms like to protect their brides at all costs and show her how much she's appreciated. However, in the Uyghur culture, grooms get to shoot their future bride with a bow and arrow. But it's not as awful as it sounds. The grooms cut off the arrowheads beforehand. After shooting the blunt arrows at their bride, the groom then breaks the arrows to ensure that the couple's love lasts a lifetime. In Scotland, brides don't get shot at, but they do get sour milk, dead fish, rotten food, and feathers were thrown at them. As if that weren't enough, she then must be willingly tied to a tree for some time. Once released, the bride then joins her friends for a night out on the town. The thinking behind this custom is that if the bride can deal with this type of harsh treatment, she will be able to effectively deal with obstacles in her marriage. Number 5. Nail in the coffin. For most people, lying in a coffin while alive would freak them out to no end. Others are willing to risk it for the sake of love. On Valentine's Day 2015, 10 couples participated in a wedding ceremony at Wat Tak Yen in the Bang Krue district. Before the ceremony began, the couples had to make offerings to the monks and then proceed to lay down in a pink coffin. They were then draped with a white sheet and the monks chanted over them as they would over a deceased couple. When the chanting ceased, the monks prayed over the couples and blessed them for their new lives together. It is believed that laying down in the coffin and being prayed over sends all approaching bad luck packing before it has a chance to land. Number 6. Amilcial Marriage Festival. Every year in Amilcial, a small town in the Atlas Mountains, up to 40 couples convene to tie the knot as part of a long-running tradition known as the Amilcial Marriage Festival. The festival is currently in full swing, running from August 23 to September 8. The festival is born from a Berber legend, the amazing equivalent of Romeo and Juliet. As with all folklore passed down verbally, the general legend is that two star-crossed lovers from the Eight Hatidu tribe in the region wanted to marry, but their family, sworn enemies, forbade them. Torn between their family's wishes and their love for each other, the grief was so much that the couple cried themselves to death, and filled the two rivers in the region, now known as Ili, his, and Tislit, hers, with their tears. As a result, the families, ridden by guilt, established a day on the anniversary of their deaths that young members of the tribes could marry each other, so as to prevent another tragedy from befalling a young couple again. Number 7. The Luck of the Irish. In Ireland exists quite a few wedding customs that are initiated before, during, and after the ceremony as part of the celebrations. These include putting a sixpence in one of the bride's shoes and incorporating a horseshoe in the bouquet. Some Irish couples toast their honeymoon with honey wine while others include a traditional fruit cake as their wedding cake. A very beautiful celebration, however, comes in the form of a lace handkerchief. An Irish bride would carry the handkerchief with her down the aisle. The handkerchief is usually handed down through generations. Some couples have their name embroidered on it along with the date of the wedding. Once the wedding is over, the handkerchief is made into a bonnet for the christening of the couple's first child. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.